Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a sociologist and I teach statistics. And I've had a lot of students and I've experienced myself this phenomenon of math anxiety. And the researchers tell us that it's a very real phenomenon, but there are definitely strategies that you can employ that can help you succeed in a statistics course. Let's talk about it. Whether it comes from something someone said during childhood or your experiences doing math practice problems throughout your high school years, a lot of folks say that they're not a math person. So let me give you away the punchline of this whole video. That, my friends, just like a lot of other things in society, is a social construct. Being a math person, that's part of the narrative that we use to identify our academic abilities. Math is truly for everyone. It's just a toolkit that you can use to better understand the world around you, to do sociological or other social science research, or just to do, dare I say, for fun. The key to developing an affinity to math and to redeveloping your abilities is to just move beyond the negative experiences you've had with math in the past and see if you can leave those behind and try on new skill sets for size. Math anxiety is very real, and the research points us to information I'm going to share later in this video that about 20% of us experience very real physical symptoms when it comes to experiencing math. However, being a math person or being naturally good at math, that's a myth that's really pervaded our society. Although there definitely are people who have very, very strong math abilities or maybe have other cognitive issues that prevent their success in math, when we look at the big social factors, gender, race, ethnicity, even class, when we control out all of the actual lived experiences and benefits and privileges people have in society, nobody is biologically better or naturally good at math compared to other groups. Again, of course, there's always individuals that stand out, but when we think about those big social problems, like sociologists do, we see that all of those differentials seem to fade away when we look at the macro level. This is good news for you. If you're somebody that thinks that you can't do math because you're not somebody who's maybe supposed to do math, leave that behind. Math is truly for everyone, and we can work on ways to counteract all of those math anxiety feelings and symptoms that you might have. Let's take a peek at the math anxiety cycle. This is, a way that researchers have conceptualized a really vicious cycle of developing increased math anxiety over time. So, any stress that you feel about numbers, problem solving, and analysis, maybe the most important math skill you can learn in this course is how to interrupt this cycle. So, tell me if this is familiar to you. You maybe had some negative math experiences in the past, maybe a really struggling experience while trying to learn a new concept. Maybe you had a course in high school that really just ground your gears. Or you maybe had a teacher or even parents that emphasized the stress of learning math and the memorization and the timing rather than having positive experiences learning concepts. Well, the researchers show that the most common pattern is that this leads to math avoidance, right? When I say math avoidance, that means maybe not engaging with class time, not coming to lecture, staying away from homework as much as possible, and avoiding any other opportunities to repeat that negative experience. I totally get it. But that leads to poor preparation for math tests. When you're underprepared, obviously that'll lead to poor math performance. And then that poor performance feeds right back into those negative experiences that you have with math, right? I mean, I know that this is a silly aside, but it's just like the Peloton cycle lady, right? She's on her bicycle freaking out. Ah, this is a continued cycle that's experiencing with individuals while they're learning math. Negative experiences produce more negativity, anxiety, avoidance, and then worse outcomes. So I really love this video, and I'm actually going to put a link over here for you so that you can watch this video and solidify some of the concepts. It comes from TED Ed, and they review all of the challenges, research, and solutions that you can employ to overcome math anxiety. Here are the takeaway points I really want to make sure that you get from this video. Again, highly recommend you watch it yourself. But here's the takeaways. Did you know that about 20% of the population experiences math anxiety, identified not just by feeling generalized anxiety, but also physical symptoms of anxiety that make it really challenging to engage in math coursework? And a part of it, just like we've talked about before, is we live in a world with pervasive stereotypes about gender and race, ethnicity, and who's supposed to be good at math in our society. But the research tells us these stereotypes are false. No gender or race is necessarily naturally better or worse at math skills. Research also shows us that teacher attitudes and behaviors can cause math anxiety to spread too. So the onus is on me to keep things cool, calm, collected, and a little bit zen when it comes to math. So let's go back to this cycle. We really need to interrupt this cycle at some point so that you can stop feeling math anxiety feelings. So here's one solution. I'm going to challenge you to interrupt the cycle with your own little intervention to leave some of this math anxiety behind. So yes, everyone, me included, has had previous negative math experiences that maybe told us we're not math people after all. However, we can let go of that bias and we can try to interrupt the cycle, even if you have an experience during this course where you don't perform as well as you thought you should, or it's really challenging to learn a concept. Try to interrupt the cycle and engage even more with math when all you want to do is run away and hide. So instead of avoiding math, take the path to interrupt the cycle and engage even more. Leave those previous failures with math behind. No one will know about them except you. And I'm going to approach this class as if we are all math people and we can all really do this. When you do that, that leads to increased confidence with math, which is going to, of course, help your grades, but also help you really master the concepts of math. And dare I say, you might, like I have, experience excitement, joy, warm, fuzzy math feelings, really positive experiences when you're working with math. And this is a new cycle that can replicate itself. When you have these really good feelings, it makes you want to continue to engage more with math than ever before. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You might go back and forth between these cycles at some point, avoiding math and then wanting to engage more. But the more that you can choose to interrupt the cycle, the more you're going to reroute some of your bad habits and feelings about math abilities and math anxieties so that you can feel more like you belong in math. To make it more simple, don't avoid math. Engage more with math. So when I talk about math avoidance, I've said, running away from math, hiding from math. Well, what are ways that you can actually tangibly increase your math engagement? Well, let's go through them one by one. I strongly suggest that you try a few problems each day or a few days a week rather than trying to complete all your math tasks in one big cram session. I've done that. I've spent, entire Sundays doing all of the math, and I find I'm having to reteach myself more, and I'm worrying and learning more ineffectively because I have the pressure of a deadline. I would encourage you to do a little bit each day so that you can solidify what you're learning in class and then also just feel less pressure. The less pressure you feel, the more de-stressed and zen you'll feel about math. That's a good thing. I cannot stress enough. Reread, rewatch, rewrite your notes. Those are the best ways to just form new math pathways in your brain and make sure that you're solidifying all those concepts. Also, redo examples and practice problems as much as you can. When you do a problem 2 or 3 times, your brain kind of subconsciously soaks up some of the information about how the patterns work. And math is all about patterns. So by redoing examples, you give yourself more structure and you help to make sure that you're really understanding the material. Obviously, make math social if social is your thing. Find some cool study buddies. Even if you aren't studying together in person, you might be in an online class, or you might not be on campus with other people. Find folks that you can Skype with or FaceTime with, or even just share the stress that you have about learning math so that you don't feel alone. It really helped me in graduate school to just have a cohort of friends, buddies, study buddies that we could go through problems together and figure things out. And then finally, ask questions. Ask as many as you can. Keep a log of questions in a notebook for yourself. Ask your instructor. Ask me in the comments on this video. Ask your peers. Even ask Google. Google is your friend with statistics too. So in this class, you're going to have a learning process that uses constant hands-on learning, lots of feedback, and really creates a loop to help make exams feel like a pleasure instead of a stress. So let's take a look. Try to make sure that when you're learning, you have active learning, you do lecture activities instead of just soaking up the material, take notes, or engage in other ways by doing the practice problems from the lecture. That's going to help you when you're reviewing your readings, doing any quizzes, data analysis worksheets, when you're working in Stata or another statistical program, and it's going to help you tackle all of your textbook homework. When it comes to exams, having this feedback and hands-on learning loop is going to help you have a really effective exam review and make exams, again, feel like a pleasure instead of a big stress situation. And again, the more you can reduce the anxiety and stress surrounding math, the better you'll perform and the happier you'll be with your results. So these are my top 3 takeaways for this video. And again, these are not comprehensive. I'm not reviewing everything that's in the video. These are just the things I really need to make sure you know. Number 1, math is for everyone, including you. So leave behind those stereotypes and those preconceived notions of your math ability. I'm so glad that you're learning math now. Number 2, math anxiety is real, very real. I've been there, but there are solutions. So if you still need some help, rewatch this video with different techniques that you can use to escape the math anxiety cycle. And 3, if you're struggling throughout this semester or any time in your quote mathematics career, instead of avoiding math, engage more. Every time you want to run away from math, that's a really good sign that you should engage even more with your math education. Sound good? All right, thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you next time.